Hey guys, I wanted to show my quick and easy hand modeling workflow. So let's begin. Like always, I'm going to start with a cube. There, let's go into the top view. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to outline the palm. So something like this. And I'm going to give it some divisions. These will signify where the knuckles and the fingers will go. And then we just need to shape this to make it look like a palm. So if you think about your hand with no fingers, that's what we're trying to kind of create. Okay, so middle finger, index, ring, and pinky. Okay, and adjust from all views. That, and then I'm going to give it a little bit of a shape. Just look if your hand in its resting position. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, that's good enough. Just one more thing. There. And then in the back, we don't need these faces here. That'll be the wrist, and I'm going to just shape this like the wrist. Your thumb is going to be here, so this will be larger section, and then that's the rest. Alright, something like that. Looks pretty good. Then I'm going to extrude just one finger, the middle one. And the reason I do the middle finger is because it's the one that's aligned to the axis the most, so it'll be easier to work with. Okay, now we need a couple divisions. Like that. And then we'll shape it. Something like that. Okay, that looks good. And I'm also going to extrude these other fingers because the next step is we need to subdivide after we do the thumb. So I'm going to extrude them about the length they would be, and then I'm going to click the key faces together. This will split those two. You can just shape this like that. Now we're not going to actually go through and do the same like we did with the middle finger. We're just going to quickly add divisions just as placeholders, because we'll actually delete them after we subdivide. Now let's pull out the thumb. I like to just pull the thumb out from the side like this. And since the first knuckle is like in here, we only need to make the second and third. So like that. Then select the face here, and then extrude that. And then one more time. sure that everything is even. And then we'll just scale these. So it's already starting to look like a hand. We just need to do a little extra work. So next thing we need to do is subdivide, because there's not much we can do to this now. So let's just do that. Let's subdivide, and we could probably do one more thing. I'm gonna just slightly bend the thumb. We missed a vertex. So to move the pivot, I'm holding D and then holding V and the middle mouse dragging, and that will snap the pivot somewhere else. And then I can do that. Okay, that's as good as we're gonna get. Now let's subdivide. Clear history. I'm just gonna freeze, and then I'm gonna subdivide like that. Then I'm gonna delete these fingers. So select that. Right, and now let's look at the middle finger and let's adjust it. Let's pull out where the nail is gonna go, like that. Knuckle. Okay, we need to add a couple loops here. So I'm going to use the multi-cut tool. Just click from the outside. Oops, I need to select this. Click the tool, and then we're going to drag radiating towards the inside of the knuckle, like that. And then we can take these guys, just move them in. Top here, we can select that, scale those out, and then scale these in, like that. Tip a little better. And I'm also gonna quickly do the nail. It's not gonna be a real nail, so this is more of a kind of a low-res hand. You can always up-res it afterwards, after we get all the detail in, but we can put a placeholder for the nail, which should be really helpful. So push this back a little. I'm gonna select the faces up here. I'm going to extrude and then scale in like this, and then I'm going to rotate over, so this will go in, that's going to rise up. Then from the top view, I'm going to adjust that. This actually is going to come back a little, and then if you want to make longer fingernails, you can just select the faces here, then extrude them out slightly. So it's not, by any means a super high-res nail, but it gives the appearance of one, and I think it's good enough. while you decide how much resolution you need.
Okay, that's good enough for now. We can actually make it a little rounder though, a little flat, because once we did the extrude, it flattened it out. Let's do that. So let's just raise this. Okay, good enough for now. We can also do the same to the thumb. So because the thumb's slightly rotated, I'm going to use the camera plane. So I want to use this loop to add a knuckle. So I'm going to rotate my camera until it's aligned like this, and then I'm just going to use the cut tool and do the same thing from there to there. Make sure it's aligned. That way we can move this in. Now we're going to shape the thumb. Like that. Now we're going to do the same here, so on this knuckle. And it doesn't seem like we need it, but it actually will help a lot. Oops. And so, since this already goes in a little bit, we're just going to round this out. And then pull this back for the knuckle. I want to scale this in this direction, so I'm just going to hold D. Oops. And then rotate the manipulator, then I can scale like that. That should be it for now. Okay, so now let's do the other fingers. It'll be pretty simple. I'm going to select this one. Actually, I'm going to duplicate first and then select it. And then shift select, delete. I'm going to come in here, move my pivot up here to the knuckle, and then duplicate. Just moved it, that's okay. And then we'll align these fingers the way I want it to be. Like that. Okay, and let's scale. So now we just need to rotate to match our rotations. Okay, so let's keep aligning. Oops. we just need to attach now. So there are a couple ways to do it. You can use bridge, you can use target weld. I'll show you both options. I'm gonna just combine, clear history, and in the toolbox there's target weld. Basically click and drag. Like that. Sometimes it's hard to get the vertex. So you can see that's attached. These guys, I'm going to show you how to use bridge to do it. Delete. I'm going to double click this edge. I'm going to deselect this and then deselect this because we need an even number and the connection in the middle is not made. So now we're going to do simple bridge and then the same on this side. Like that. Fill this in. That, and then move this in the middle, like so. Okay, you can see there's the hand. It's starting to look like something. And now what I'm going to do is clean up in the middle here, because right now having one edge in the middle is not good, doesn't look good, also it's going to be hard to bend. So what we'll do is we'll first delete these vertices, or these edges I mean, like that, and just hit delete, don't do control delete, leave the vertex there. And then I'm going to use insert edge loop tool, relative distance. I'm going to turn on insert with edge flow. And then from top view, you can see I'm just going to do that and see how it spaces them out. And that's what we want, because you have that little space between your fingers, almost like webbing. Like that. Then use the cut tool. Just reconnect these guys. And now what we have is that these loops go all the way around, and so do these. So we have much better edge flow. Then the other thing we can do is that the space between our fingers, it's not even from top to bottom, and what happens is that these guys are spread a little more and they're moved up a bit compared to the bottom, compared to the top I mean. thumb, we can do the fingernail on the thumb. So extrude, then we're gonna rotate, we're gonna align the camera like that, and just take the outside. Yes. Okay, and the next thing I want to do is actually I want to move the thumb over. So it's not in the right place right now, and it's actually a pretty easy step. And I'm going to duplicate just in case I mess up and hide. But the idea is, see, we have two faces on this side, and we have two on this side. So if we just kind of switch this over, we can just add two faces on this side from here, and then merge this down at the bottom. So I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Select, shift greater than, this will increase our selection, and then we'll extract. Here it is. Clear history, select this guy. I'm going to move the pivot here. I'm going to snap that thumb there, and then I'm going to rotate it down like this, and basically what's going to happen is this vertex is going to match this one. That's the idea, at least. We turn wireframe on, we can see that our geometry is still going to line up perfectly, so it's not a big deal to do this, and we'll make everything nice and clean and more anatomically correct. Okay, that's good. So delete faces on this side, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these vertices here. I'm going to snap them to the thumb, just holding V. Combine. Keep losing it. There it is. And then merge. And then we just need to use the pen poly tool and fill in the space here. Oops. There. And we'll just adjust the edge flow. Here, make that the pad. So if you pre-select the direction, so by selecting this square here, I'm limiting my movements to X and Y. That way I'm free to move with the middle mouse button, knowing that I'm not moving it in Z. There we go. That looks pretty good. One more problem, and that is this. We have the wrist is now 20 edges, and that's going to be a kind of a problem when we're attaching it to an arm, because when you think about geometry for when you make an arm in your box modeling, you want to make sure that you're using just a cube that you're subdividing, and when you do that, you'll have usually a wrist with 16 divisions. So what we're going to do is we're going to reduce that number. But first, I'm going to make just a quick wrist shape here. Pretend there's an arm. Just so we have an idea of how it's going to connect. So let's subdivide. Okay, one more time. And so here's our wrist, and you can see that it has 16 edges here. So to connect it, we'll have to make sure the hand also has 16. Good enough. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove 2 edges because we have 20. I just need to remove 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. And an easy way to do that is just to use a redirection, and that means the edges we have here, and let's pick these 2. I think this will work fine. Maybe these 2, the 2 knuckles, we can direct them into each other, and it's pretty simple. I'm gonna go from here to there and then to there like that, and then I'm gonna cut across where they cut those 2 edges. I can now delete this guy and these triangles and there. So we just redirected this loop into this one, and now we have 18. Now we need to do the same on the bottom. So let's pick these 2. So we'll go from here to here to here, and then like that. So that's 16 now. So if we combine both, select both sides, I want to do a bridge, and if the bridge doesn't match, you can always use bridge offset to change that. And then to make this match better, I'm going to select this loop, and by the way, I'm using contiguous edges. Basically, if you double click an edge, it stops when the quads stop, but if you click contiguous edges, which is under select, and that's contiguous edges, the selection is based on edge angles, so it makes a quick loop all the way around. And then I'm gonna go into edit mesh and open up average vertices and click apply. Select this one, apply. Yeah, oops, contiguous. Adjust the wrist. And probably add an extra loop here. Okay, that's it. Pretty simple. Can adjust that. Didn't take more than a half hour, so, and you can always upres this to make it really nice and detailed. I just kind of quickly went through it and didn't look at any reference, but of course you should always look at reference, and that'll make it a lot more accurate and look way better than my hand here. Alright guys, I hope you like it, and if you want me to keep making tutorials, please subscribe and like, and if you have any ideas for what you want to see, post it in the comments. Thanks for watching.